Hey, I'm Florian from lifesciencementor.com, and today is another day of the Idea Machine Challenge, and we will be talking about 12 ways in which ideas are the new currency. Now, that idea comes from the notion that whereas in the past you needed a lot of money to start your own business, now the overheads for any business that you can start any business online. You have an overhead of maybe $100 to $200 for running a website per year. It's not really much. So money is not an issue anymore. Anyone can start a company, basically, and he or she can basically execute on his ideas. And we can also exchange ideas with each other and then learn from each other. And in that way, you could say that ideas are the new currency because money is not that dominant anymore, right? In the past, if you wanted to start a business, you needed to have a lot of money to rent a storefront, basically, where you put your products. And so you needed investors, and you don't need that anymore. For the first years of business at least, you won't need an investor. You need a good idea on which you then execute. Very important. So here I've listed 12 ways in which you can say that ideas are the new currency. The first idea is if we can think it, we can do it. So Mike Cernovich talked about that on Danger and Play, that that every one of us has already perfectly learned how to visualize something. Visualization is something that is routinely ingrained in us. Really, you ask? How's that? It's very simple. Nearly all of us think back what happened in the past and how we would have made it different if we were just able to go through that situation again. Well, and think twice. If you think about the past, you just visualized yourself in the past and what you would do. But the past has already happened. You can't do anything about it. So if you think too much about the past, you're only holding yourself back. And that's the power of an visualization right there. That's the power of an idea, basically, of a thought. It can hold you back in your development. While if you just, instead of visualize yourself in the future, what would you do in 10 years, 5 years, 1 year from now, next week? Then these ideas can actually push you forward. So as long as you think it, that's the time you can do it. So if we can think it, we can do it. The second point is you can literally earn money with ideas. There is a guy who was interviewed on Pat Flynn's podcast, and I think he also was in Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek, or so I read. I haven't read the book yet, so I don't know. But he was definitely on Pat Flynn's podcast, and his name is Stephen Key. And he talked about ways to license your ideas, right? So you would basically, it's not an idea like build a time machine. No, not like that. You look for a small improvement. Let's say you go through a store and you notice that there's an amazing product that really is kind of like hidden away in the shelves. Or maybe it's not hidden, but it's really not very prominent. And you think, man, that should have a better design in the packaging for the value this product gives to so many people, and people don't notice it because the package design is just subpar. And then you could write to that company and say, look, you can make more money if you follow my idea and improve the design of your product, of the packaging of the product. Something very specific to that. And Stephen Key talks about how to license your ideas properly, how to eventually make money from it. It's not a completely simple process, but it's a doable process, and it's serious business. But you can definitely license your ideas, and you don't need to make the invention yourself. Your idea itself is enough to license it. And I've provided a link to Pat's podcast there, so you can check it out yourself. But I found it interesting that you can really make money with an idea directly. And I've also included a picture of the worldwide coverage of Domino's Pizza. Domino's Pizza, for all of you who remember the starting times of pizza delivery services, you had no control. Sometimes the pizza would come in 5 minutes, sometimes it took them 1.5 hours, right? So Domino's Pizza started when the owners realized that it's not about making a better pizza, because there were already like bazillions of different pizza companies on the market. What none of these companies got right was timely delivery. And so Domino's Pizza just started with the premise of delivering your pizza in 30 minutes, and otherwise you get your money back. And that is a brilliant idea. First of all, there's some kind of like profit for the consumer. You get money back, okay, you don't need to pay for it, but it's actually like a tangible advantage that you can hold in hands, your money, right? And then there's a limit, 30 minutes, and you could hold them to that standard, they would deliver within 30 minutes. With that improved idea on consumer service, they won, and there's actually worldwide coverage with Domino's Pizza now. It's like all of Russia, some countries in Africa, some in South America, the whole Western Hemisphere. Interestingly, though, not in Austria, but in Germany. So it has a huge worldwide reach, and that is the power of one simple idea. Number 3, without gatekeepers, you can execute your ideas much faster, much more directly. So I remember when people wanted to do a book deal, and at some point when I grew up, I thought about, should I become an author? And I realized that doesn't make you much money. It's a tough business, and if you don't really, really, really love it, you won't make any money from writing a book. Because what happened? You had to get them through a publishing house, which meant you wrote manuscripts, sent them off to 12, 20, 50, 100, I don't know, different publishers, and then if they would buy it and take your manuscript, then they would give you pennies on the dollar for royalty, like, I don't know, 7-8%. They had a huge reach, but and they could market your book, but your book you would not get much on your book. And nowadays you can self-publish your books. Have a blog like mine, grow a base of people that look at your blog, and then publish a book, and then people will buy it. And that's how it works normally. And how it works nowadays, all the people that decide if you can be hired by a publishing house or not, they have lost their power. And that becomes even more apparent in the news media that lose towards Twitter, because people get their message out unfiltered via Twitter and not filtered through a political agenda, which newspapers often do. And then the third point, the third example is, political movements. You can also start. You can also start contacting your followership much more directly. If you're in politics, then, for example, the majority party in Congress, in the House, the majority party in the House will form the committees, right? And then they get these committees, of course. Who has the control over the committees gets to decide which points will make it into the committee. It may still get voted down, but some points will not even be considered by any committee, and that's how you stop ideas before they ever have any chance of becoming popular, right? But if you have social media, you can have your own political movement. Nobody filters your ideas. You can decide what you want, and you're not dependent on any gatekeepers. And that way, ideas are terrific currency there, because they really are the ones that drive your actions, drive what you do. You can execute your ideas faster, which is important for something to be a currency, right? So with money, you can pay directly money, right? And you can have direct access to ideas nowadays as well. Then specific ideas push you to act. That's about a personal motivation. So if you always come up with ideas that are executable, then having this idea will bring you very close to actually execute. oftentimes just saying, I want to lose weight alone, it will not make you lose weight, but saying, I will lose 1 pound per week by eating less snacks will compel you to act, right? And so it can't be a big idea, right? So like beaming people as in Star Trek or time travel. Those are great ideas, but I'm still living in the 21st century. We still use cars to get around. So, but there's always a small step in the eventual direction. When you come up with that step, then you move forward. So that small step compels you to act, right? For example, I mean, we have so many big advances in physics, like almost anything that we use nowadays, from electronics to measuring techniques in medicine, or the use of nuclear energy in peace and war, that has not been conceived from the get-go, but that has been made possible by small ideas that added up, put like something large in motion. So that is the power of ideas. You need ideas in science to solve a problem, and then you come up with a new hypothesis and come up with new ideas to solve that hypothesis, right? Number 5, thinking of ideas improves our mental health. Very short. Thinking about ideas takes a while. I mean, 1, 2, 3 fast thoughts. You can have impressions very, very fast to any topic you think. But then coming up with idea 4 to 10 is more work and stimulates your mind. So basically, that is an investment into your mental health, and that way, its ideas are a way of currency. Number 6, ideas bring order into the chaos. And I liken that to the Human Genome Project. So, Human Genome Project, people deciphered genes, and they were like cheerful. Yes, we know the blueprint of our DNA. We know where all the genes are there. But big data does not equal big insight, right? So what people knew then, and what people have done more research on then, is the regulatory sequences. Quickly explain, gene basically has a regulatory sequence and a coding sequence. And the coding sequence will be translated ultimately into a protein, like a molecule that gives stability to your cells, that forms a part of the cell nucleus, that forms part of the energy machinery that deals with keeping the cell alive. Basically, cells have little factories inside that generate energy that take basically the energy we take from eating and transforms it into energy that the cells can actually use, and ultimately our body can use to power its function. And so genes have a coding sequence where all these proteins, all these molecules that build these factories inside the cell and build the structure of the cell and ultimately the structure of our body, they're encoded in the coding sequence, and then you have a regulatory sequence. You can't just take all the proteins that are in a muscle, just throw them together, and then wait till it becomes a muscle. No, you need to, when an embryo develops, you need to first specify the region where the muscle will develop. Then you need to have the cells in place that form the muscles later on in the area where the muscle will develop. And then you have to make, in the case of muscle, these cells fuse to each other and then have long myosin aggregates that can actually contract in concert and use to get your muscle moving, right? And these muscles develop in a specific schedule as well, and it's tightly regulated when specific coding sequence, specific genes are translated. Not all genes are translated at the same time. And these regulatory sequences basically determine when the genes will be switched on and off, right? So that's important during development. So basically the regulatory sequences in front of all the coding sequences of the genes, they are the ideas that you need to have order in all the chaos, right? Without those regulatory sequences, We just have a salad out of many different genes, and there would be nobody who makes sense out of it. But a regulatory sequence, like an idea, orders all the proteins and all the molecules, all the genes that are bringing forth these molecules and proteins. And the same with our life. So many ideas are already out there, out and about. But you can always develop new ideas how you can reuse the old ideas that are already out there and sample them to something new, right? And that way, new ideas are also currency. So 7, it's not only acquiring resources, it's about maintaining them. So if we had all the resources we need, life would be easy because we'd have abundance and no need to worry. And even then we needed a way to maintain our abundance. So there was, on 30 Days to X, there was an article about Pablo Escobar, who was a drug dealer in Colombia, and he would basically have billions. He couldn't go to a bank, so he stored the billions as cash on his property, and every year mice would eat up several millions of his money. Think about that. You have so much money that you have leakage. Mice take away millions of your money. But even if you put money into the bank, you need to pay the bank to maintain it, right? So you need ideas that help you maintain your stash of money. So in a way, you can't just think about, or you can't just do your thing and then just continue doing it over time and then just expect that it always stays the same. You have to use ideas to maintain the wealth that you have. Number 8, ideas can give you access even if you don't have money. Let's say you want to go to a nightclub and want to have a table, but you won't get in there, right? So it's a very exclusive nightclub. So if you don't have money to buy a table, how do you get in? Well, there's 10 different methods I spontaneously thought about. You could invite some girls to come with you. They'll probably let you in if you show up with a group of 5 girls. You can befriend the doorman. You can become a regular visitor and befriend the whole staff. You can dress in a specific stereotype, like a rock star, so people assume deep down that you are some kind of celebrity. And you can also dress to exude an area of dominance and status. So, like, if you're stereotyping a Wall Street banker, then in well-packed, well-groomed, and great suit and all that kind of shit, then you will probably also let in because you really look like you're rich. You can befriend a group of people that go through the VIP entrance. You can just go in without giving a shit. You can slip in through the delivery entrance or back door. You can bribe the doorman. Or you can dress as a repair technician and tell them you need to fix the leak in the bathroom. All ways I just simply came up with that will maybe get you access into a nightclub, even if you don't have money. So in that way, see, ideas are another form of currency. Number 9, because you need time to acquire money or develop ideas. So money basically is a replacement for time. As Aaron Clarey explained in Bashaphat Economics and on his webpage, you need time to produce things for which you get paid. So basically, getting paid is basically a replacement of your time. Now, that brings us to number 10. Ideas can maximize the return of investment of your time. So because your lifetime is a finite resource, you don't live forever, you don't want to go and change your time for money. You want to create a money-making machine, and you want to make a product that you can then sell over and over. And with the internet, you can do that. Let's say you write a book and you spend 100 hours on it, and you sell one copy of it for $10. Then your hourly wage is $0.1, 10 cents. If you sell it 100 times, you are already at $10 per hour, right? 100 copies of that book sold in total, and you are paid $10 on the hour of work for the book. If you have 1,000 copies, you're looking at an hourly wage of $100. And if you look at 10,000 copies, then your hourly wage was $10,000 or $1,000. $1,000 hourly wage. You never get that from any normal job. You could also guest post on another blog and put attention to your book. You get 1,000 more people buy your book. Then you just increase your hourly wage by $100. Right? So that's another point. Number 11, ideas connect us. When two people have similar ideas, we realize we think alike, and thus show we have a common base. And number 12 is because you can have idea sex and create an awesome idea child. You know, if two people have ideas that can be matched, they can even build something new or form a new business or company together, right? And that's basically it. Let me know if you have, if you think that executing old ideas versus coming up with new ideas is more important. Let me know. Also, I'd be curious if you also do a 10 idea per day challenge, as I do. And with that being said, thank you very much for your attention. Hope to see you again tomorrow. And so far, I wish you all the best. If you liked it, if you enjoyed the video, click like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I'll answer everyone, and see you again tomorrow. Goodbye.